welcome to the Power Up Talk Show, a talk show where we bring together community leaders and inspirational people that are making a difference in the world. I am Sandy Spady, your host, and welcome to today's show. Before I introduce my amazing guest, we always have to start it off with Dion Bass Somber Cocktails.
Thanks, Sandy. Thanks for having me on the show. You know what? I was inspired while I was at home last night. I heard that Zach was going to be on the show. Sorry. I wanted to make something really special for him. So I call this cocktail the Peachy King because he's actually kind of one of my mentors and one of my favorite people to talk about when I talk about Omaha. So we're going to start out with a little bit of peach puree. And then a little lemon juice. And then we're going to use our Brickway single malt. Now I chose this one because it has a wonderful chocolatey, earthy undertones, and it has this kind of velvet cake finish that just makes anything just that much more nice. Now what you guys didn't see on camera was I coated the bottom of my mixing tin with a little bit of lemongrass. So let's give it a shake. Now we're going to go ahead and give this a pour. And these glasses are coated with the essence of sage, which will go good with anything that has malic acid. And we're going to top this off with a little ginger and lemon sake. And there we have it, our Peachy King. Enjoy the drink, guys.
Thanks, Dion. All right, let's toast here. Let's see what we got from Dion Bass. Okay.
It's delicious.
I think you have something to do with that. I think Brickway's in there, right?
Dion crushed it. It was a great cocktail.
Great guy. You can always hire Dion. Today I have a great guest that I probably met, 2020. His name is Zac Triemert, and he is the owner. I got to get my notes. He's done a lot. Okay, I'm just going to share this with the world. He's a graduate of University of Wisconsin. Did I say that right? And a bachelor's degree in microbiology. Zac received his master's degree in brewing and distilling in Edinburgh, Scotland?
Edinburgh, Scotland, yep.
Nice. I mean, how many people can say that? That's so cool. And then after returning to Omaha in 2006, he worked with a local state senator to write and pass the Craft Distilling Bill into law. Super cool. And then Zac was a commercial brewer and distiller for the last 24 years. He founded Lucky Bucket Brewery. If you haven't been there, it's really fun. In 2007, and he has Brickway Distilling. And he also, let's see, that's in the Old Market. If you haven't been there, it's beautiful. And then Brickway has won 25 national, international awards for beer and spirits since 2018. In 2021, Brickway was awarded a Small Business, Greater Omaha Chamber Small Business Award, which we all know I'm a chamber cheerleader, for helping during the pandemic give out, let's see, hand sanitizer. That was a huge thing. You made national news for that, I believe.
Yeah, we gave away over 10,000 gallons.
10,000 gallons. Like 2020. Wow, that was quite the year. Wow. And so here he is. We're going to talk all about Zac and what he does and everything he has been through. And I just have to say, I met Zac. I was on the Whiskey Board Fest, their first year in 2020, and we did a ribbon cutting to kick off the festival. And we would meet on Fridays once a month, or sometimes towards the end every Friday. And I fell in love with whiskey because we had to test out whiskey, right? Because it's a whiskey fest. So if you have not ever checked out the Whiskey Fest of Omaha, Nebraska, you've got to check it out because it's super cool, so much fun, and it's still going on. So I fell in love with whiskey, yes.
October 4th this year.
October 4th. Okay, Mark, get your girlfriend, get your boyfriend, get your husband. Come by yourself. You'll make friends. You're drinking whiskey, okay? It's a good time. All right, Zac, let's talk about you. Let's talk about how let's see, you were at Cargill as what? A microbiologist, and then you leaped into the world of beer and spirits. How'd you do that? Tell us the journey.
Well, it kind of goes back to college. I was pre-med,
Okay.
and I was the nerdy president of the microbiology club, and I brought in the brewmaster from G. Hallen Brewing Company. And he came in and showed me what else I could do with my degree. I said, I'm doing that.
Nice.
And my mom was disappointed, but she did get over it when I started making vodka.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You won her over. Nice.
Exactly.
So what was it that they shared with you that you could do it? Like you could start your own distilling company?
I could start our own brewery, start our own distillery. It was a real viable career path. But when I graduated from college, there were no brewing jobs. There were only about 800 breweries in the country. And to give that scale, there's over 10,000 right now.
Yeah.
And so when I graduated, I couldn't find a brewing job to save my life. And so I got a job as a microbiologist for Cargill. Great place to cut my teeth. But it was really kind of an inspiration from my father that helped me make the leap from being a career microbiologist to a brewer and distiller.
Well, you have to share that. What was it?
Well, I guess probably the most beautiful and tragic thing I've ever been through. He got sick with pancreatic cancer, and I was able to use FMLA to move back to Minneapolis and do his hospice care and doing his IVs and bowels blocked. So if he had a popsicle, I'd have to suck it out of his stomach.
Wow.
Like stuff I never thought I could do.
Yeah.
But you can do it when it's somebody that you love.
Yeah.
And after he passed, I had a home brew in his honor.
Wow.
It was called Jerry's Pale Ale.
Love it.
And at Christmas, I gave everyone in the family 2 bottles, one to drink and one to save.
Nice.
And I gave a little speech.
Nice.
Some people laughed, some people cried. I realized I changed the experience with that beer. We were celebrating all the good times we had with my dad. We were commiserating over how fragile life really is. He was only 57.
Wow.
And we were commemorating his whole life. So celebrate, commiserate, commemorate is why we do what we do. It's why I do what I do. And it was at that moment that I had to leave my cushy microbiology job and get a job with poor benefits, poor pay, and make a go of it. And so it's been a long 24-year grind, and now we're proud to say that Lucky Bucket Brewing Company, Cuts Pike Distillery, and Brickway Brewery and Distillery are all doing really well.
That is so awesome. That is great growth. And it's so funny because, I'm a business coach, and so many people, I work with them and I think they're making great money. They're doing, have great benefits, but they hate it every day. And I'm like, you're married to your job. Yeah. You have to do what you love because life is easier. Mm-hmm. And it's easier for the ones around you too, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
I feel very, very fortunate.
That is a great story.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's be real, and we're talking about beer and spirits. What is it? It sounds like a lot of fun, right? It sounds like a lot of fun. But I know for you, there's something deeper behind that. Like, what do you do? Like for beer and spirits, it's deeper. We talked about your dad, but isn't it also like you're building a community of people? You're giving them jobs. You're helping the community. Like, it's bigger than just what it is, because you've been in it long enough now. Share with the audience, like, what's the bigger picture?
Oh, the bigger picture is about the community. I mean, we do a lot of, donating beer and spirits for charities, but really what we're starting to do more and more of that's even more impactful, a bottle of whiskey for a golf tournament doesn't make that big of an impact. But we have private rental spaces at Lucky Bucket in La Vista and at Brickway downtown. And so we're now starting to donate that space and waive the rental fee for non-for-profits. And then we can do a private whiskey barrel pick just for the charity. And we can go as simple as put a sticker with their logo on it to an entirely new label. And then we sell that whiskey at that event, and we can raise anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000 in one night just with the whiskey that we're making. And that is just a lot more impactful, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Well, I know I just recently was at Light the Night, a nonprofit, and I saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
And they signed me up. Now I'm going to do a group of committee, right? I love nonprofit. It's my keynote speech. I love how, talking about being a part of your community. And that's nice. So you're giving back bigger than just like the little things that most people do.
Yeah.
Like the golf cart whatever price.
Right.
That's great. Tell us more about, bourbon and whiskey. I learned a lot being on that whiskey board fest. Like, what is really the science or the story behind the bourbon versus whiskey?
Well, I get this asked question a lot.
I bet.
And people often come and say, I don't really like whiskey. I'm a bourbon guy. And that makes me roll my eyeballs a little because all bourbon is whiskey, just not all whiskey is bourbon. Yeah. So imagine like whiskey's at the top of the Christmas tree and all the different styles of whiskey kind of spider down from there. Bourbon whiskey is one of those styles. And what makes bourbon is that its mash bill has to be a minimum of 51% corn, which we're in Nebraska. We got a lot of corn. Makes sense that we're making bourbon.
Yes.
The other thing, it has to be matured in a brand new charred American oak barrel. And so we only use brand new barrels. And then the third thing, which I think is the most important thing, is that it has to be made in the United States of America.
Right here, I agree with you. 100%.
One spirit we own.
Yes, I love that.
While we have our American single malt in here, which is 100% malted barley, it is not Scotch. It is American single malt, which is quite different. We have a 4-year bourbon at Brickway. That's 4 grain, 52% corn. And then out at Cut Spike Distillery in La Vista, we have a 78% corn, 3 grain bourbon that's aged 6 years. Both very different, but delicious. Very proud of it.
Now, how do you know if it's a stronger as far as, I know nothing about whiskey, right? I just like it. So, some have a stronger something that is like one drink and you're out. Like what makes it a really strong, high level of what? What am I missing out? Like, is it?
Your basic whiskey and the lowest you'll see on shelves is bottled at 80 proof.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm getting at. Okay.
And whiskeys I've seen as high as 130 proof.
Okay.
So when it's maturing in the barrel, it's typically between 110 and 120 proof in the barrel. The proof can change over time. It depends on what condition the barrel's maturing in. And then it's up to the distiller to decide what proof they want to bottle it at. So our American single malt and our Brickway bourbon are bottled at 86 proof. Our sherry cask single malt's bottled at 90 proof. And then we have a cask strength bourbon that's at 105 proof. So
wow, is that like one shot and you're done, or it just depends on the person?
Because we're able to bring in balance. Balance is something that I'm really proud is one of our core competencies. Like, talk about balance is boring, right?
Yeah.
But for the whiskey drinker and for the beer drinker, it's so important. So you can drink our 105 proof bourbon neat, and it doesn't burn your face off because it's well balanced.
Nice. So. And that's when that microbiology kicks in, that you can measure all that.
Little chemistry.
Yeah. So tell me some of the products. Like, what's your number one product that is forever, never going to change? You're always going to have it because people want it.
Oh, our number one product that's selling right now is Brickway vodka. The vodka is premium. And I got to tell you quickly about it because it's so important. There's really 3 things that really makes our vodka stand out, premium, and great. First one is distillers talk about how many times a vodka is filtered. 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. Okay. It comes this who can say the biggest number contest. And it's meaningless because was that filtration for 1 minute? Was that filtration for 1 hour? And so we continuously filter our vodka through coconut shelled charcoal for a minimum of 48 hours. I developed this process called continuous filtration.
Wow.
Secondly, the type of water you use to bring it to bottling strength is important. A lot of distillers will use their local tap water. Some distillers spend a little more and use reverse osmosis water, which is pure as water can be. The best water in the country comes out of the Ogallala Aquifer, the Sandhills Aquifer. Wow. And while we can't afford to truck it in, I didn't mention my undergraduate degrees in chemistry. And so I had the water from the Ogallala Aquifer analyzed with GC mass spec and figure out the concentration of different salts and minerals that make that water different. Wow. And so we start with reverse osmosis water, add back that same concentration of salts and minerals to create that water in our distillery and bring it to bottling strength with that. So it has different texture, mouthfeel. It's beautiful. And the third piece is that we're local. Yeah. And when I say local, a lot of times people hear it as, oh, you want a handout, you want us to buy yours just because you're here. No, that's not it at all. Our vodka is a premium quality vodka, but we sell it at an inexpensive price because we don't have to pay to ship it from places far away around the country and around the world. It's made here, and I pass that savings on to all of our local people that live here in Nebraska.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah.
And I'm so local. I mean, I grew up with a family restaurant. I was young as 6 kids. Like, I'm all about hospitality, even when I worked with the chamber, and local, because we have to support each other.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. I'm sure some people will expect like different things, but you just explain it very nicely.
Yeah, people get on me like, you should charge more for this. But I don't have to. I want everybody to drink Brickway vodka. And I make it easy for everybody.
Nice. So what's your second one? Like, what's some other ones?
Oh, I would say if we're talking about whiskey,
let's talk whiskey.
it's Brickway bourbon.
Okay.
That is doing really well in the market, and it's so well balanced and so easy to drink. If we're talking beer, it's oddly our coffee vanilla stout.
Ooh, it's so good.
Even in the summer, our sales of coffee vanilla stout continue to grow.
Because you can ice that, right?
If you want to,
yeah.
sure.
Wow.
But it's so well balanced. When people hear stout, they automatically go to a beautiful Irish stout. And it is a great beer. Ours is just completely different. It's lighter on the palate, it's sessionable, and that balance of that coffee and the vanilla. And it's lovely. It starts as a milk stout. It's a great beer.
Yeah, how long has that been out? I feel like for a while, hasn't it?
Oh, at least 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, that's a really good one. All right, let's see what else I have up my sleeve here. Okay, since you're a distiller of whiskey and bourbon and vodka and all these things, how do you educate? Like, you do wine tasting, I'm guessing. Like, what's some fun things that you do with your customers to educate them on what to, what to look for, what to taste? Like, you explain a lot here, but do you do ever like whiskey tastings, or tell us some?
So we do tours at both Brickway and Lucky Bucket every single Saturday. It's 1:30 downtown at Brickway and 4 o'clock. And with that comes both a beer and whiskey tasting. And so you just got to go on our websites, and it's $25, but you get about $40 worth of drinks during that, plus a 100 ml bottle of whiskey to go. Nice. And so we do a tour of the facility at each place, and then we sit down and taste a couple of beers, taste a couple of whiskeys, and really get into detail of how it's made, how we make our choices, and down to the flavors of what we're drinking, and it's a ton of fun.
I could see that for like a bridal, gathering, or a bachelor party, like to kick off for that.
Yeah, I did a bachelor party last Saturday at Lucky Bucket.
Totally see that. Now at Lucky Bucket, you had so many different, types of beer. Was it all like what? I was busy talking because that's what I do a lot. But what was all the different? Is that all different beers or?
Yes.
Whiskeys? What's
There's
there?
we have 24 different beers on tap. Some you can find in the grocery stores. A lot are small one-off batches that we do just for the tap room.
Ooh,
and
nice.
So it's quite an experience to come out and sample all the variety of things we have to try.
Is that a whole different tasting, I feel like? Is that like trying them all? Or
well, you can experience that on your own.
Yeah.
I do large format beer and whiskey tastings for charitable groups and things like that. That can get a little more expansive, and it's really fun to do.
Yeah, it would be fun.
We have a beer out there called Certified Evil. It's a 9.2% alcohol imperial stout. And our head brewer, Mitchell, has done, I think, 3 different variations of that with different flavors and barrel finishes. So those are things that you get to try in the tap room that you won't see out in the grocery stores.
Oh, nice. It must be really strong, I have a feeling.
They're fairly strong.
That name, I'm like,
but still, again, well balanced.
Balanced. I love that. I didn't realize how much chemistry was behind all this. This is a perfect for you. Let's talk about the 2020 year. I mean, it was such a different year, as we all know. That's when I started my Wound with Voices, because people were starving for connection. But what made you step up to the plate and decide to do that? You saw the need? That was a huge thing. Yeah.
The need became clear very quickly. And I knew that we had the right type of equipment to be able to make hand sanitizer. So it seemed like a no-brainer. And there was some fun, unintended consequences that came from it. Most bars and restaurants were forced to furlough all of their staff. And our staff is like family. And because we were able to make hand sanitizer, we kept all of our bartenders, but instead of bartending, they were bottling hand sanitizer for us.
Nice.
And we were open from noon to 6 p.m. every day for people to come in and get hand sanitizer. And we were selling beer and whiskey and vodka to go. So there was a benefit for us. In fact, every Friday we would do bring your own container.
Yeah, I remember something like that. Yeah.
And so we had contests. You could bring the silliest container, give up to a half gallon to anybody for free. We started it. We were giving it away to first responders and hospitals and nursing
Chamber,
homes.
I know the chamber. That
Chamber and restaurants. And then it was literally everybody. And so it became a passion project. And people around town were so nice to us. I can't tell you how many different people bought us lunch to, feed our staff for the day. The city was truly returned their generosity in spades. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
I just remember seeing on the TV like lines of people waiting to get their buckets filled for sanitizer because you couldn't find it. It was like nowhere to be found.
We have drone footage of the line the first few weeks going over 5 blocks long. Wow. It was incredible to see.
Wow. So do you still have some of that out there if anyone wants it, or it kind of just went away because the need?
We don't stock it anymore, but it is fun to go to restaurants that still have our pump containers that they've been refilling. And I've got a few, in my office for posterity.
Yes.
And I like making whiskey better than hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah, it's way more fun. Way more fun. Yeah.
But we were happy to give it away.
Oh, it was smart that you even came up with that. Like I'm sure a lot of other people could have done it. They just didn't have that spark because I think you really think of things, and it worked out.
Yeah.
And it was huge, and you got Small Business Award, which you need. And you deserve that.
No,
it was
thank
a great
you.
thing. Tell us about being within the community as far as like Old Market. I know they have like their little association, and then out there in La Vista. Like, how do you get involved with that? What's happening? Any news to share? Anything happening?
Well, we're members of both the Sarpy County Chamber and the Greater Omaha Chamber, and both groups are work hard to help small business, and not just helping the biggest of the companies, and within all the different charitable groups around town, we do what we can to help out and be a part of the community.
I think it's kind of cool how you take like that local nonprofit and put their label on it.
Yeah.
Because that really signatures their event. I didn't know you did that. I'm going to keep that.
Yeah, we're working on one right now for the 50-mile march.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
Nice.
Another one for ERC, and we're really doing more and more of it, and people love it.
Yeah, it's a signature.
And it's funny, I use the tagline, it's for the kids. It really is for the kids.
Yes, yeah, it's
supporting,
like, yes, absolutely.
a lot of, charitable organizations that support children. And
I love that. So what's some secrets or some great stories you can share about your business and through the, all the years you've had it? Like, what's a great story?
Oh, great story.
I love stories.
Well, I started, Lucky Bucket way back in the day.
Oh, that's just Dion. We're fine.
And I had a couple business partners, and I gave them equity for free. And in 2012, we had grown Lucky Bucket to the biggest brewery in the state.
Wow.
And I came back from my first vacation after 4 years, and I was met with a meeting, and they said, we need your computer and your keys. You're no longer employed here. And they had 3 Sarpy County police officers to escort me out of the building.
Wow.
Yeah. So that happened. That was May 31st, 2012.
Wow, that's a
That was a shock to the system.
Wow.
So,
ouch.
yeah, they thought they could do without me.
Wow.
And
No.
so that's when I, decided to pull my bootstraps up and build a new business plan.
Yes.
And the cool thing about building Brickway is I got to do 2.0. So I got to do all the things again that worked well and do things differently that didn't work as well.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're right downtown in the heart of, the old market.
Yes.
The walk-in traffic and being, in that vibrant part of town is fantastic.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I love La Vista, but you got to know you're going there. We're in an industrial park.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nobody's casually strolling by and say,
Yes.
oh, we should go there.
Yes.
So that was a big change. And
Wow.
so, yeah, I was in, it was almost exactly 2 years ago this week that I bought Lucky Bucket and cut Spike back.
Nice.
Then we gutted the place and rebuilt it. I mean, we pulled out the concrete.
Wow.
It's new plumbing, HVAC, electrical, brand new tap room. It's gorgeous. A lot of new equipment. That's one of the reasons I love doing tours out there, to show how we've really renovated it. It is a first-class production facility.
Wow, that is quite the story. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, let's do something
There's
fun.
really some greasy details, but it's too much for this program.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, we're not.
That's over cocktails later.
I love it. Yeah, that's the wine tasting stories, yes, or the whiskey stories. Let's talk about something fun about Zac. So, what is like your first drive-in theater you went to, the movie?
Well, it's going to date me.
That's okay.
But it was the first Superman movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that goes back. Christopher Reeves, way back, Man of Steel.
Yeah, that was a good one. What about your first rated R movie?
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Alyssa Milano. I had a crush on her.
Nice. Mine was Caddyshack. Yeah.
Nice.
My older sisters took me in. Nice. So what's the one thing you could tell someone that's starting out, right? Because now it's like, it's a huge thing. People, like you said, what, 10,000 or what? It started with how many when you started this industry?
There was 800.
And now it's like over
10,000.
What would be your advice for a young man or a woman out there that wants to start their own?
Well, be very diligent about putting your numbers together and price everything, figure out what it's going to cost, raise enough money, and then when you think you have enough, double it. Everything costs so much money.
Yeah.
It's very hard, and there's a joke in the industry, and I'm sure more than just this industry, but they say, do you know how to make $1 million in the brewing industry? Start with 10.
Start with 10.
Yeah.
But if it's truly in your blood, which it was with you, it's going to work out.
Yeah, no, I love it.
It's a lot of time, but it works out. All right, how can people find you? Like, what's going on? Like your social media? Like, what's going on or what's happening? Like, how can people find Zac?
Well, obviously, you can follow our social media at both Lucky Bucket and Brickway, Instagram, Facebook, X. It's hard to call it that.
X is new because it was Twitter.
Twitter, yeah. I'm in the tap rooms fairly often, just touching tables and chatting with people. My email is just Zac@drinkbrickway.com. So Zac is spelled Z-A-C.
Yep.
So happy to chat with folks.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love how community and whiskey can come together and make something cool. So remember the Whiskey Fest, October 4th. You want to attend that. It is so much fun.
OmahaWhiskeyFest.com.
Yeah, be a part of that. It's so much fun. And then if you're in Old Market, stop in, have a whiskey tasting, grab your girlfriends, grab your date. Just do it. But remember, it all begins with a dream and a passion. And if you have something that you want to accomplish or do, you just have to love it, do it, and then watch it grow. Thanks, everyone.